Hey, it's Sandy with Quilted Treasures and More. I hope you've had a great day and welcome to What's on My Crafting Table. I've been doing some fall stuff lately, as you've noticed in the past weeks. We've done a Love Grows Here tree in a fall setting, and we also did Fall Spice, which was a pumpkin and a cup of pumpkin spiced beverage of some sort, whether it was a coffee or latte or cappuccino or whatever it was. And this week we are going to work on, let me get my little screen out of the way here. There we go. This one is called Grateful. And it has a pumpkin, of course, but it also has some fall leaves. And so we're going to be painting that and getting that all decorated and ready to go for the fall season. Now, fall is a very popular time for festivals. It's a real popular time for paint parties because everyone loves to do the fall door hangers or canvases, and also Christmas door hangers and canvases. And so that kind of comes in the fall section too. So September, October, November, those are what you're going to be looking at as far as options for things like paint parties. And something else I always think about with the fall, other than the leaves turning and hopefully cooler temperatures. After some of the days we've had with some of the heat indexes, we would all love to see some fall temperatures, I'm sure. But another thing that comes to mind with fall is, besides the craft fairs and the festivals, is the fair itself, which always, of course, brings to mind all the food, like cotton candy and funnel cakes and corn dogs, and we could go on, and I could make myself very hungry. So we'll just get to painting. How about that? So this one's going to have a variety of nice fall colors. We're going to have some orange and some brown, a little bit of a golden yellow. Actually, it's a ochre color, but it kind of looks like a golden yellow in some ways. And then, of course, we're going to do the pumpkin a little different. We're not going to do it orange this time. We're going to do a little something different with the pumpkin and kind of make it look unique on this one. So I'm going to start out with oyster beige, and we're going to do one of the leaves in oyster beige. And I think I may have just gotten way too much for that leaf, but we shall see. All right, so we're going to start with the top leaf up here, and this leaf here is what we're going to be doing in the oyster beige color. So I'm going to start my time lapse here. I love doing time lapse, y'all. It's so much fun. I get to do little quick shots of me painting in 30 seconds or sometimes less, and I get to put those on things like Instagram. Also add it to stories, and so I enjoy doing the time lapse. Plus, sometimes I just get a good kick out of watching me actually paint 3 times faster than what I'm actually capable of doing. So, so it's always fun to go back and watch. See, look, I can work really fast. Sometimes I wish I could work that fast on projects. I sure wouldn't have a long list of projects that need to get done if that were the case. Amen. If we could move that fast in real time, that would be awesome. All right, so I'm just putting a coat of, again, this is oyster beige, and just working my way around this top leaf. Sometimes I follow in order, starting with the lighter colors, working to darker colors. Sometimes, if I have a large area to color in or cover in one color, I'll start with that color first. It just depends. To me, it's easier to work from lighter to dark, but sometimes it's easier to cover the bigger area first and then work your way backwards. Okay, So this little area right here is also the lighter color. Okay, so I'm going to get around this area. And with it being etched, I could just paint right over this one little section right here. But I am actually going to attempt to just use the corner of my brush and try not to get the paint everywhere. Just going to get right in between the loop of the G for grateful. Okay. All right. Now this leaf also tucks behind our pumpkin. And so I'm going to go ahead and paint him on this side and get him all squared away as well. Now this is most of the time, you know that if you've watched for any length of time, you know I like to put 2 coats on everything. But with this being a lighter color, I definitely will feel better if I put 2 coats on this. So we will be going back here momentarily and adding a second coat. All right, so that's our first leaf. And that is got a little bit off screen there. I'll pull him down just a little so that way you can see what the top looks like. I have to remember to keep a watch. I forget sometimes. I try to make sure that I keep it all on screen so that way you can see it real well. I keep thinking at some point, periodically, I'll move the camera around and try to get a different angle. And I keep thinking at some point, I'm going to find that one perfect location. I just haven't quite got there yet. I keep thinking I might put my stand that my overhead camera is part of. I might put it on a book because you know that's so high tech. I might put it on a book or a box and see if I can get it up just a little higher so that all of the door hanger will be in the shot. And sometimes I think it's not so much the stand as it is the camera itself. I can't really zoom in and out with it, so I'm thinking if I had one I could zoom in and out with, that might make a difference. All right, so getting that second coat on our lighter color leaf here. All right. Now I'm just going to move him back up there. And the next color I'm going to go to is the ochre color. Now, like I said, this is going to be the one that is kind of yellowy or golden. To me, it reminds me of a hot mustard color. All right, so I'm going to move this up a little bit so that way you can see, and it's going to be this bottom leaf that we're working with now. So we're just going to work on getting this ochre color, and you could actually lighten this up a little bit. You could take a little bit of white, and I may do that on the second coat just to give it a little bit of a lighter. To me, this is a very dark color on this wood. I could have base coated it, and it would have probably helped to make it stand out just a little bit better. in the more of the gold look rather than the darker look. Would have been a little bit lighter shade. But I did not base coat this one. And the reason being, I got to looking at the colors and I thought, well, you know, these colors are pretty solid on their own. And so I decided not to base coat. But now I'm wondering if that would have been a better choice for this color. But it's okay. What I can do on the second coat is take some white, mix just a little bit of white with it, and just lighten it up a little bit so that that second coat is just a little lighter than the bottom coat. Yep. Did y'all see what I just did? Make sure y'all can see what I'm doing. Got my paint on my brush and I went right at the edge. I managed to get it moved. I was afraid I was going to end up with it running down the side of my door hanger there, but I did not. Okay, so now what I'm going to do while this is drying just for a few more seconds, I'm going to take just a dot or maybe two, ended up with 2 dots, and add just a little more of the ochre color. And I'm just going to take the back end of the stick of the brush and mix in that white and just get it a little bit lighter. So that way the second coat won't be quite as dark. And then of course get it off my brush so that way I don't have it all over my hand. All right, so I'm just going to start over at the top again. And just put the second coat on. And this is going to be a pretty neat looking kind of golden colored leaf. And if you wanted to make it sort of a shimmer or a sparkly leaf, you could take some of the gold, metallic gold color, and you could use that either around the edges, or you could paint a third coat on top and give it a shimmery look. I have added some of the metallic colors to flowers. I added the metallic to a fall pumpkin attachment to the off-road door hanger. I'm trying to think of what else I have used. Oh, I also used the gold in a Christmas attachment. So I have managed to use the gold, the metallic gold, in quite a few things. And then I have a pink color that I have also used in kind of a shimmer or sheen look to some of the pink things that I have done. Okay, I am going to go to our orange next. This is Canyon Orange, and this is going to be our middle leaf. And I'm saving the pumpkin to last, and the reason being is the pumpkin is going to be this color. It's called Bluegrass Green. And I know you're probably looking at the lighting and going, that doesn't look green at all. It looks blue. It actually is a kind of greenish color. It's hard to see sometimes in the light, in the ring lights that I use, the LED lights. But it really is more of a green than it is blue. Okay, now then, let me see. I think I may, yep, I missed some of the gold color in the letter G. That's okay. We'll go back and we'll get it. I'm not extremely worried about getting into the letters. I am a little bit. I don't want to really get into the letters too much because I want to do them white. But if you see right here where I have gone into the G with the orange, that might make it a little difficult to put that white color down. So if I can get the baby wipe to come out of the container, there we go. What I'm going to do is go ahead and try to get a good bit of that off of there so that it does not make it difficult when I try to do my letter. And I already know it's going to take several coats of the white to get that filled in the way I want it. I didn't realize I had gone that far into the R as well. I'm doing real good. Maybe I should have traced the letters first just so I'd know where I'm supposed to stay out of. Even though I've got it's etched, you know, right here on the board. I can see them, but I guess right now I'm focused on the leaves. I just need to really work on staying in my lines. I feel like I'm going back to kindergarten or something. Work on staying in your lines. Okay, so we're just working our way around the pumpkin in the leaf. Now we're not working on the pumpkin, but the leaf actually goes behind the pumpkin. So we're working on getting the leaf behind the pumpkin painted orange. This is Canyon orange. It's not a bright orange. I've used it on quite a few pumpkins. I've also used spice pumpkin. Not using it on the pumpkin today, though. This one's going to be different. You could have changed up the colors and done things a little differently if you wanted more of a traditional fall look. You could have very easily worked with the pumpkin being orange and then made your leaves maybe a maroon and a gold and instead of doing orange, you could have done a green, one left that hadn't changed yet. Or you could do red, yellow, and brown. So, all right, so let's see. I've got the lighter color leaf there. I've got the darker leaf here. And this is part of that leaf. And this little part right here is actually part of our ochre color. So I'll have to go back and touch that up or get that painted. All right, so Going to go ahead and get some more Canyon Orange and finish a second coat on this leaf. And then we'll start working on our pumpkin. And again, we're going to be working on that as far as a bluegrass green color. We're going to be doing that on that pumpkin. So we're going to make it a little different. All right. Get our second coat so that our leaf is a very bright and vivid orange. Working on the tree last week, I used burgundy and I used crimson, and I also used bright red. So you could actually do a gold and a bright red. Or if you prefer the darker colors, you could use the deep burgundy or the crimson color. And again, you could always go with a green, or you could go with a brown, or you could, let's see, I was trying to think of what other color I actually used. I had so many colors out last week because I was using almost two of everything. I used black, and I used a dark brown, and I used the deep burgundy, and that went into some of the shadows and darker leaves. And then I used spiced pumpkin orange and also a brighter orange, a pumpkin orange, and had those kind of together. And then I also pulled in, I used the yellow, the ochre, and I used a sunshine yellow, but I kind of mixed it with the ochre so that it wasn't so very bright. All right, so if I can get the orange out of this brush, I'm going to go back and get the ochre real quick because I don't want to try to go back to that color after I've done the bluegrass green. So we're going to work this in here real quick and fix my little boo-boo where I left. Now, if you're wondering about this section here, this section is actually bluegrass green as well. So I've just got to work to make sure that that I don't get that into my letter as well. All right, so just one more round. And I may end up doing quite a few coats of white on these letters. Just because I am not doing so well in staying in the lines tonight. That's okay. We'll get it all fixed. It'll be all right. Okay, so there's our three leaves for the moment. We've got our lighter color, which was the oyster beige. We've got our golden color, which was actually the ochre color. And then we've got canyon orange. All right, so next we're going to start on our pumpkin. And a lot of times you'll see me, I'll just paint over the letters, but because I want to do them in white, I'm really trying and not succeeding at not getting a lot of paint on my letters. So this is going to be the pop on our door hanger. And again, you could always do the orange pumpkin and then come back and do the leaves. Instead of an orange leaf, you could always have a maroon or a red. Well, burgundy is the color that I have. or crimson. All right, so I'm just working with our bluegrass green and just working around my letters. It takes a little longer when you have to work around the letters, but, and I've already got the bluegrass green in the letter T. Let's see if I can get that out so that way it's not such a struggle later. Maybe I should have really base coated this. You know, hindsight being 2020 and all, because I feel like the boo-boos would have come up easier if it had paint to work with rather than just the bare wood, because a lot of times the bare wood will just soak up paint so quick. It dry a lot of times. If you've noticed, I've not had to get the blow dryer out. Most of this has dried fairly quick, and so I'm just, you know, going right back and hitting it with a second coat. So I'm not having to really work to dry, you know, get it to dry so I can go on to the next thing. Maybe I should have base coated it. But that's okay. It just means a little more work. But we learn as we go, right? Creating is a learning process. September, October, and November are usually the months that most folks focus on fall and Christmas door hangers and decorations, getting them prepared. And I do have paint party dates open for September, October, and November. You can contact me either through the comments here. And speaking of comments, I will be checking them after the end of what's on my crafting table. Sometimes they do not come through when I am doing the, I guess you call it the show. It's funny kind of saying when I'm doing the show. I always think of a show as something that is scripted and produced and planned, and even though I do have notes and I do, you know, think through what I'm gonna touch on as far as any techniques, um, to me, show just sounds funny. Maybe it's more because I know what goes into getting ready to click the button every Sunday evening. And trust me, there's no big planning meetings. There's no, you know, no big team of folks. It's just me and the computer and a camera and a very bright light. The leaves went by really fast. I was thinking, wow, this may be a short what's on my crafting table. And then I came to this part. And I'm thinking, maybe not. All right, so we are just carefully working our way around letters. I could have grabbed a smaller brush for this, which probably would have helped in the speed of getting this accomplished. But a lot of times when I'm doing things, I'll find one brush and I will stick with that brush. Not so much that I don't want to change brushes. I guess just, hey, I've got this one, it's in my hand. I'll just, rinse it out good and keep going with it. I worked with a gentleman who used to say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I guess I just, that just made sense to me and it's stuck with me all these years. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Keep using it. Roll with the flow. Reminds me of a song. I'll have it stuck in my head for the rest of the night. All right, so these are some, talk about fall colors that pop. I was looking at a chart the other day online of the 2021 fall colors that I guess are going to be the focus for fashion and decor for the fall season. And some of the colors I would not necessarily think of when I think of fall, but they weren't colors that you went, ooh. They just weren't colors that I normally associate with fall. One of them was the color blue that I used in the cup with the fall spice door hanger that I did with the pumpkin and the plaid, buffalo plaid cup. It's a really pretty blue. It's just not necessarily a blue that I would look at and go, oh yeah, I want to use that during the fall. Okay, so we are coming down to the last little section here. I've still got the other part of the word to do. And I've got to work. I may have to change to a smaller brush, y'all. I have come so far with this brush. And sometimes it's just flat out laziness. I don't want to wash out 400 brushes. And so I just keep using the same brush. It's just a matter of me being stubborn and lazy. I just, just use one brush, wash one brush. I know y'all saw that. I'm not even going to pretend like you didn't. Just going to go ahead, grab the baby wipe, start working on it. Try to get it so that it's not going to shine through the white. I don't know, I may have to change what color I do my word. I thought I was going to do white. Maybe not. Maybe not. May have to do may have to do black. I really wasn't wanting to do black. I really wanted to make it a different color, but okay. We're going to give in and find a smaller brush. All right, we're going to go really small here, and I'm going to have to get some more paint. I said really small. Maybe I didn't go small enough. Oh my goodness. Really? See, this is why I stick to one brush. Now I have two brushes to wash and maybe three. Oh, there will definitely be three because I'll have to have a round brush to do some of my detail work. And so I am not getting out of washing brushes. And sometimes when I'm doing door hangers or canvas paintings, it's like, you're just going to have to take a deep breath, suck it up, and deal with it. All right, but you can see it's starting to come together as far as the layout and the colors. It's just the little sections that tend to make things a little tedious. Some of my outlines will help. My outlining will help to, that's going to be interesting to try to get that done. I'm not real sure. I've got one there, and that one should have been orange. I don't know. Hmm. I don't know, y'all. I may end up doing Grateful in black. I just keep looking at this thinking, I don't know if white is going to work. Only thing I worry about with the black is that you're going to have black lines, and I'm just afraid that uh, it may blend too much. So, not really sure. Hmm. All right, so I'm going to get my big brush back out. Yep, I thought I was going to retire it, but nope, not yet. Not permanently retire, just, for the night. Nope, its job is not done. Bring it back out so I can get the big areas done quickly. Trying to think of another color I could use other than white that would stand out against these colors. I'm just afraid black is going to be too dark and blend in. Not really blend in, but just kind of get hidden. But I'm a little worried about the white covering up my boo-boos now. This is where my perfectionism kicks in and I get aggravated with myself for not, uh, I don't know if you call it being more careful or, actually not being stubborn and changing to a smaller brush so that I can stay in the lines. Oh my goodness. All right, so all I'm doing is the second coat. Y'all know me, I like to do two coats just to make sure that the door hanger is well covered, has good protection. And then, of course, I always seal coat them. But I like to make sure there's enough paint that, you know, that it's not all up to the seal coat. I like to know there's enough paint that underneath the seal coat, it's doing a good job of helping the seal coat do what it's supposed to do. So just working back around my letters and getting outside the lines. Oh my goodness, y'all. It's just one of those days. Hmm. I don't know. To me, the white is still the best color. I don't want to do a yellow because it will then work against my pretty or the golden yellow uh, leaf. I think I'll probably do my best on the white and just see how it turns out. Because like I said, I'll do an outline. I always do of my letters. And so I'll do an outline, and that may help to cover up some of the crossover points that I did. If you ever want to let go or work on letting go of your perfectionist tendencies, painting is one of those areas that will, let's say, challenge you to let go. Because there have been quite a few times when I want to really, I don't want to say get upset. It's just one of those things where you work at it because you want it to be a certain look, or you want it to have a certain pop, and you just, I have the bad habit of getting something in my mind, picturing it, and then if I can't translate what my mind's eye is seeing via the hands to the canvas or the door hanger, then frustration sets in, and I've had to really. That's one of the things that I've been challenged at is not holding on too tightly to the quote unquote perfect picture that I have in my head. And it's funny because sometimes I'll get through with something and think, it's all right. And lo and behold, bless goodness, I'll have somebody look at it and go, oh my gosh, I love that. It's just what I've been looking for. And the whole time I'm thinking, that didn't really turn out the way I wanted it to, but hey, okay. I've heard sculptors say that the art or the sculpture is in the stone or the clay, and all you do is help it find its way out. So it doesn't always come out exactly the way you picture it in your mind. And I've tried to hold on to that. That projects that I do and door hangers that I do, crafts that I do, sewing projects that I do. As you begin to put them together, they'll take on their own personality, which kind of sounds like things that are said about children. Uh, yes, you can read all the books on parenting, but if you have more than one child, you're going to discover that each child has their own personality, their own way of doing things, their own, um, of course, their own thought process and all. But uh, I'm finding out that it's not just the case with people. I'm not going to say just kids, but with people. Also, the case with creating. Sometimes you have a destination that you think you're going to, and then when you get through with the project, you look at it and go, well, that really wasn't where I was going with that, but I like it. And if you've been thinking, well, I just don't think I can paint. I don't think I'd be real good at a paint party. Paint parties and door hangers and things like this, canvases, this is fun art. This is art that allows you to try something new. This is not fine art. Um, Fine art is done in a college classroom or with a master artist. This is not fine art. This is fun art. So, keep that in mind. I know some of you have told me, I don't think I could do that. Like, yes, you can. It's paint and it's brushes and it's patterns. And do you like coloring in coloring books? Okay, it's basically what I'm doing. I'm just doing it with paint instead of colors, which sometimes I think I'd probably do better with colors. Crayons might be a better option. All right, we're going to jump into the white and see how this goes. Oh, wait. I take that back. I take back what I said. Did I just do all of those little bitty areas with that big brush? Y'all. Moving right along. All right, I'm going to do the stem real quick, and we're going to do this in what's called a Mississippi mud color. So I usually use dark chocolate, or a lot of times I'll use green for the stem. We're going to do this one, and we're going to do this one brown. And this is called Mississippi mud. It's a little bit different brown than what I normally use. I like sable brown a lot. If I'm not using sable brown, I will use, if I'm looking for a lighter brown, then I love the honey brown. It's one of my favorites. We're going to go with Mississippi Mud on this one. It's funny, this is the color I use on footballs when I'm doing football tour hangers or attachments. I've got a couple of football attachments that I do. And so this is actually the color that I use on the football. All right, I'm gonna let that dry for just a little bit, and then I will come back and put another coat of that. Okay, y'all, it's time for the white. I'm gonna get a filbert tip brush, and that's what I'm gonna use on the lettering, is a filbert tip brush. And we're just gonna do this and see what happens. Like I said, I can always go with black if I discover that, the white just isn't working out, or I can't get the boo-boos covered. All right, now I'm going to need a filbert tip, so I'm going to turn that may be too, no, that might actually be a good size. Okay. All right, so remember the filbert tips, they're a flat brush, but they have a curved end to them rather than a flat end. All right, so we're going to jump in here, and we're just going to go for this. Because sometimes to make an omelet, you got to break a few eggs, right? So we are just going to jump in here. I'm going to turn this just a little. And I'm just going to go for it. We're just going to go with the white and see what happens. And it may take several coats. I may not actually get to finish this completely. May have to post a finished picture later. But we're going to see what happens. The filbert tips are nice whenever you have the lettering that has the curve rather than a flat end like this here. It has a curve to it. And so the filbert tips are nice because it does not make it awkward. A flat tip brush tends to make it awkward. You have to kind of maneuver the brush around, and to me, first time I used a filbert tip, I was like, oh my goodness. This R looks funny to me because it does not have a stick coming down this side. I'm like, was something wrong with this whenever it got cut? But no, that's actually how this R is. That's how it's made. So I'm like, okay. The lettering is one of those things that I am still not very fast with, and I am hoping that as I continue to work with painting canvases and door hangers or whatever I am painting, I've actually painted the tops of several of our trinket boxes that we offer in the shop. My husband actually puts those trinket boxes together. When he first came up with the idea, I just kind of looked at him. I'm like, okay, look, there are things that I want to do, and then there are things that if you want to do it, great. Trinket boxes were one of them. They're cute. I think they are absolutely adorable, and I'm glad that we can offer them. But as far as me being the one to put them together, yeah, no, that just wouldn't. I don't see that as being something that would turn out very well. Now, I don't mind painting them. We have put magnolias on top of one trinket box, and I painted the magnolias. We did a panda bear on top of one of the trinket boxes. Oh, I remember I painted, it was a wind rose that he did on a round trinket box, and that turned out really, really pretty. And I just went in and put just a little bit of white in the middle of the compass rose or wind rose. I forgot to finish my tea. All right, let's work on getting him completed. Now, definitely we will need 2 coats on the white, but I am thinking probably a third just to make sure, because I'm looking at the G and the white has soaked in so much. Sometimes this wood is just, I mean, thirsty wood, let me tell you. So, and I am not really, um, a lot of times when I'm doing letters, I will kind of go sparingly on the paint. I'm um, not really dabbing off the brush or anything. I am loading it up a lot more than what I usually do, and it is still soaking in pretty good. Some of the fonts and lettering on some of the door hangers I can go through pretty quick. And then sometimes I find myself being very careful with other letters. Other styles of letters, I guess I should say. Ah, Sandy. Yep, I pushed down in the wrong direction. Okay, no problem. We'll just go back and make sure that I have my brush turned, because for that skinnier part, I'm actually turning my brush on its side. So rather than coming like this, I've got it turned going like this, if that makes sense. So here it's flat through this thicker part, but when I get to the thinner part, I rotate it so that it's sideways. So that way I can use it as a skinny brush rather than the full-blown width of it. Okay, one more pretty good coat there. Like I said, I'm not really taking off much. As I'm dipping the paint out of my little container here. Now the edges are messy, but I am gonna go back with black and go around them for a shadow kind of look. Not a drop shadow, but just an outline, outline shadow. And so it will help to clean up my messiness. And that's what I tell people at paint parties. They get to working on things and they're like, oh, but it's so messy. Or it doesn't look right. And I'm like, wait, go to the next step. And as you add the layers in, look and, just kind of give it a look and see, because you'll see it'll change. What you see as, oh my gosh, there's so many streaks. Once you add the next layer, then, oh, well, the streaks aren't as noticeable. I had one lady that is, I consider her one of my coaches for painting techniques and stuff. I have taken part in some of her workshops and whatnot for various techniques and training. When she does classes or paint parties, she always tells those in attendance, don't throw it in the garbage just yet. If it gets to the point where you are just incredibly frustrated, leave it till the next morning. Because a lot of times you'll get up the next morning and look at it, and with a pair of fresh eyes, you see it in a very different way. What was a major frustration the night before looks very different the next day. And so I try to keep that in mind, even though I've been doing this for a little bit now. There are days when I still get frustrated over um, things I do. That's kind of like getting inside my word lines here. I'm like, really? What's the deal? Have I had too much caffeine today? Is the hand not as steady? Am I not completely focused on what I'm doing? What's the problem? Is it the brush? is something wrong with this brush? Operator error most of the time. I won't say it's not always the brush because I do have some brushes that I have used and they have bristles that look like hair on an extremely humid day, kind of like that. Those of us gals with curly hair understand that oh too well. I got tickled the last night. I was looking at some pictures I took before I painted the Love Grows Here door hanger. Okay, so that morning I, washed my hair, got it all fixed, blow dried it, had it looking very nice, and um, I took some pictures before I painted it. So it was just the wood, and I took pictures of me and the blank door hanger, and I was like, oh man, I really like my hair. Well, by that evening, of course, I had painted it, and so I took some pictures after, and y'all, it looks like two different days. I looked at those pictures last night, and I was like, wait a minute, that was the same day I'm wearing the same shirt. I'm like, oh my gosh, my hair was just, it was like this, where it's, all the curl is right in my face. And it wasn't, nice and over to the side, and it was just, so anyway. Us gals with naturally curly hair, we understand the bristles that look like this on a paintbrush. High humidity days can be, it can make us look like two different people on the same day. That's why I usually go with curls a lot during the summer because I don't know, call me lazy or whatever. I'm not real sure what the technical name for it would be, other than lazy. You do all this work, put the stuff in the hair, blow dry the hair, get it all set and styled, and within 2 hours, it looks like this. So it's like, why? Why? Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna leave this at 2. I'm just gonna let it go. Gonna let it go. All right, now I am going to work on the outlining, and I am going to do this with black paint. I know a lot of times I'll jump in with a paint pen and we'll go that route, but um, I have days where I just like the look of a round brush better, and this is just one of those days. I'm having one of those days. Just y'all bear with me, and I'm knocking things off of the back half of my table over there. So behind my brushes now, something is on the floor. I don't know what. Okay, is this gonna be? This may be big enough. We'll find out. Let's see. All right. All right. I'm just gonna start in the middle, and I know that sounds weird, but for the outlining, I am gonna actually turn this around like I would if I was just painting it um, without y'all here. But I do have to make sure I don't stick my hand in the white and then get it all over. This is something else that I have to work on, is getting faster with my uh, outlining with a brush. It's very easy to fall into the, oh, I'll do it with a paint pen because I can do it fast with a paint pen. But I really do, on certain door hangers, like the look of the brush and the paint for the outline, as opposed to the paint pen, which, to me is so much like a marker. And so I don't know, it's just certain designs. I just really like what I call the hand outlined version versus the paint pen version. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some door hangers that I think the paint pen is the way to go because you want really crisp lines, you don't want any variations. And this one could very well be it because all the lines on here are pretty much the same all the way around. There's not a lot of room for doing the varied lines, varied meaning in thickness and shape. And that's the cool thing about some of the designs that I do, some of the templates I use, they don't have this little pre-etched border or outline to it. And so I can kind of ebb and flow with the brush where you don't get to do that so much when it's a precisely cut line like this. But the practice is very good for me because one day I'd like to be able to do everything without having to use a paint pen, or one day I'd like to be able to do lettering where I don't even need the etching for it or a template that I just, hey, I'm finished with this pumpkin and leaf, and I grab my brush and I write the word grateful on there. We all have to have dreams and we all have to have, goals. And that's one of mine. I want to be able to do my own lettering without having to, you know, stay in the lines, so to speak. I skipped a line here, which I do have to go back around the words, so make sure I haven't messed up and got my hand in the black and then boo-booed and put it on another portion. All right, so I am just working around the leaves and the pumpkin right now. I am not working around the letters at this point. I'm going to get all of this other done, And then I'm going to come back to my letters and work on the outline shadow for them. And all I'm simply doing is just following along the edge. Again, this would go a lot faster if I use the paint pen. And a lot of times I use the paint pen on the lives of time. But you know what they say, the only way you're going to get better at something is if you practice, practice, practice. Kids hate to hear that. I hated to hear that when I was a kid. Now that I'm older, I understand, and I'm learning, you know, I'm learning how to deal with my let's get it done now mentality or my, oh, I want it perfect mentality. It doesn't look the way I imagined it would look mentality. Don't you wish you could just kind of flip some of your knowledge sometime and have it when you were younger so that you could be young and smart and, you think that by having all that life would be a lot easier, but oh, I'm sure we would come up with a lot of other problems. Y'all, I just realized something. I wanted to put polka dots on this pumpkin. We're going to get there. We are going to get there. I am going to turn this around. I know you probably feel like you're standing on your head watching me do this. But there's just some points that I don't know. I'm more comfortable if I can turn the door hanger or the canvas. And so I do have a Lazy Susan that I use under my door hangers and my canvases. And again, if you have made a comment, because I haven't been clicking back and forth, if you have made a comment, I will get it answered when the live is finished. All right, so yes, this is going slower, but it's the look that I am trying to achieve. And so sometimes slow and steady wins the race, or slow and steady gets you the results that you are looking for. So that is what we are doing. Slow and steady. All right, so we're going to turn him again. And you can start to see that with every layer that we do, whether it's a layer of a different shade of paint or the layer of just simply adding a little bit of an outline to the edge, you can see how it continues to take shape and come to life. So we just keep working our way around. And we still have the veins in in our leaves to put in. Ooh, somebody sneezed. Heard somebody sneeze in the back end of the house back there. All right, I know I'm getting off camera. Let's turn it around a little more. We'll bring our edge here. Then we'll keep working our way around here. And like I said, this is one that it would be very easy to use the paint pens on because it would give very clean lines, which is what these are. They're clean lines. They're not varied lines. They don't have a thick and thin point. They're just very straight, clean lines. And the paint pen would make the process go by a lot faster. Sometimes when I'm painting door hangers, I reach a point where I enjoy the forced slowdown, if that makes sense. I used to, at one point, I went and had my nails painted, and it wasn't because I couldn't paint my own nails. I had been painting my own nails for years. But at that point, my life was rather extremely chaotic with some things that were going on at the time. And what going to have my nails did, not had my nails did, but what going to have my nails done did for me, sorry, was make me sit down. And it forced me to sit still. And by forcing me to sit still, it forced me to breathe. Because lo and behold, bless goodness, the lady who would do my nails, she'd grab my finger and she'd wiggle it and she'd go, relax. Because my finger would be like super stiff. She's like, you have got to relax your finger so I can get this done. I'm sorry. So yes, I apologized to her quite a bit, but I finally realized, you know what, this is good for me. And I think a lot of times I went more for the fact that I was being forced to sit still and just breathe for however long it took for them to, paint my fingernails. I think that was the thing that I went for more than having my nails polished. So I think that's the process here. Sometimes I enjoy doing this by hand because it forces me to sit here and work consistently. It makes me practice an area that I need to work on. But it also is a reminder that, in all areas of my life, whether it's uh, establishing a business or uh, being mom or being wife or running a household or, you know, taking care of things on a job, that there are times when you need to catch your breath and just sit still for a few minutes. And I heard someone say the other day, what's the next right thing? What's the next right step? Because we all have to-do lists and we all have places we need to be and things that we need to get done. And sometimes we find ourselves just running like a pinball in a pinball machine. We are just bouncing from one thing to another. And we really aren't accomplishing squat. We're just bouncing around. And that's when you need to stop and ask yourself, okay, what's the next right thing? Because sometimes there's a right order to getting things accomplished. And I think sometimes we find ourselves in the realm of chaos because we have lost sight of what's the next right thing, what's the next right step. When we try to get them out of order, as the saying goes, we try to put the cart before the horse. And I have no idea where all of this has come from tonight. I'm just painting and talking. Maybe it's a new live idea. Oh my goodness. Not sure where all that came from. I realized about halfway through the nail polish story, I was like, oh, word. Normally I'm talking about painting and techniques, and now I'm sitting here having life lesson discussions? What in the world? All right, y'all, I think I finally made it back around. Woohoo! Have a bowl of ice cream after this to celebrate. Okay, so, oh, guess what? What's the next right thing? Finish the outline. Yes. Before we go to the next step, let's finish the outline. And actually, the next right step could be a couple of different things. Either I can go ahead and outline the letters, or I can save the letters until after I have done the polka dots, because I am bound and determined to get polka dots on here. I can't believe I forgot that step. I got to looking at the outline, and I guess I just got super focused on making sure either that or I got excited that the white looks halfway decent. Oh no, y'all. Look what I did. So in this case, the next right thing is to get the paint off your arm before you completely mess up the door hanger. I knew I felt sticky. Oh, please tell me I didn't get it all over the door hanger. I don't see any right now. Okay, fabulous. This is one of those emergency baby wipe. All right, yay. Not too much of a delay. All right, I'm going to finish the lettering. I'm just going to go ahead and outline it and do that, and then I'll add the polka dots. Because if I run completely out of time, y'all, I'm going to do it and stick my hand in it again. Oh my gosh. Concentration level is very big right now, or very heightened, whichever the way you want to say that. Again, you could do this with a paint pen and it would go a lot faster. I stuck my pinky in it. Okay, maybe this was not the next right thing. What over here is wet paint? Oh my goodness. Because I painted this earlier. It should already be dry. So what did I stick my pinky finger in? I don't know. The bad thing is if I don't put my pinky finger down, then I do not have an anchor. That helps when you're doing your outlining or when you're doing lettering, to anchor this portion of your pinky, the knuckle part, anchor it down. And then as you're coming around, instead of moving your wrist, take your pinky, keep it anchored, and drag your hand. Sometimes you have to move your whole arm. Okay, sometimes you may notice that I move like almost all of my body when I'm outlining. And that was a super cool technique that I watched one of the ladies that I call my coach. I have a few ladies that I call coach, business coach or painting coach. They are awesome ladies, and they have been doing this for a while. And I'm very thankful that they are willing to uh, share their knowledge. All of them seem to be in the mindset of community over competition. And if you think about it, sometimes competition is good. Okay, sometimes competition will push you to a new level, but sometimes competition will do more harm than good because you end up with bad feelings toward that person or persons. You stay focused on competing with them rather than accomplishing your dream or your goal. So yes, there's some layers of competition that are good. They force you to take a look at what you're doing. They force you to grow in your technique or your business or your um, craft, whatever it is. But at times there's competition that becomes more like a disease or an obsession. And again, where is all this coming from? I'm just going to sit here and, outline for a few minutes. Maybe all these thoughts that are spinning around in my head will just kind of be quiet. I'm not trying to be on a soapbox or anything tonight. just keep coming up with these things to say. I remember a florist one time telling me concerning competition between floral shops. He told me, he said, "Do you know how many people are in Mobile County?" And I was young at the time and had no clue. So he tells me the population of Mobile County at that time. He says, "Here's how I look at other floral shops. Is it humanly possible for me to get work from every person in Mobile County, make all of them happy, and have them return as my customer?" And I was thinking, well, over time. But I knew where he was going with that. And he said, there's more than enough people, more than enough business in Mobile County to keep all the florists in Mobile County busy. And so even before the community over competition slogan came about, he was already in that mindset that he didn't look at other florists as being a threat to him. He looked at the county as an opportunity for everyone to be successful. And I always thought that was really cool. Y'all, I know I am taking longer than what I usually take, but I am just enjoying this tonight. So if I didn't have the camera rolling and I was just sitting here and I was just working on this for someone, because not all of the ones that I do on what's on my crafting table are orders. Some of them are, but some of them I do just because uh, I like them and I want to do them. So if you see one that I do and you're like, oh man, I'd like to have that, reach out to me, ask me if it's one that was an order or if it's available, because most of the time they are available. Because sometimes I don't like to do orders as a live, and the only reason is sometimes orders are gifts or they're something family related and either a name or something. And a lot of times I don't like to do that on Facebook. I may post pictures, but as far as actually doing it on Facebook, then I try not to. I try not to do that. But even if it is an order and it's one that you like and you want, I can always do another one. That was the case last fall with the Happy Fall, y'all. I showed one on Facebook, and before it was over with, I had, uh, goodness, I was trying to think how many I ended up doing in the end because originally I had 6 orders and then it jumped up to, I think, 11 orders. And then before it was all said and done, I may have done like 15 or 16 of the Happy Fall, y'all. So that was by far one of my most popular door hangers. I had some custom Christmas ones that I was not able to share because of the customization on them. But again, there are some things that I don't post because I feel like, just the privacy of the people who are ordering from me. But there was one that was customized that got out, and I had several orders for it within the group that had originally ordered from me. All right, so I'm going to finish up my lettering here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the polka dots off Facebook, and I'll post pictures once that's done because I know this is going a little longer than what I normally set my time limit at. But like I said, I'm enjoying sitting here and just painting and just spending the evening with y'all. You get a chance to see how some of my evenings go where I just sit and just paint. Whether I'm doing something for myself or an order, I just sit and enjoy. A lot of times I'm not in a rush to try to get a deadline met. Now, sometimes, depending upon how many orders I have, I do have, to rush and get my deadlines met. But there are times when I get to just paint and not have to worry about getting it done really quick. All right, so I'm going to turn this around and we're going to work on getting the last little bit. Y'all, I keep feeling wet paint and I'm just like, now I'm paranoid. Maybe I should have had caffeine. Maybe a lot of this is stemming from the fact that I'm just kind of, I don't know, kind of laid back tonight or this evening. I guess it is kind of tonight, but and just enjoying the process. And glad y'all are here with me. I'm just kind of bringing this down where it meets Still have a little bit to do on the T here. It bothers me if I can't anchor my pinky when I'm doing this. That's one thing I've gotten so used to, that when I don't have it anchored, okay, so there's our words. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in and work on outlining, and I will get them cleared up a little more here in a little bit. But I'm just going to add some quick lines. In my leaves here. And then I'll go back and touch them up here in just a little bit. But I really just want to get the main outline done. So that way you can kind of see what they look like. And then here I've got some outlining to do, but I'm going to wait until I get my polka dots on. And I am going to probably do that once I get off camera. So just putting in a few lines here and there, and what I'll do is I'll go back and I'll take my round brush here, and I will just simply make these lines a little clearer. Ah, I knew I just put that line down there, and what do? I stick my finger in it. I told y'all I have trouble doing this without anchoring my pinky. Oh, that kind of turned out cool. I spread that black out just a little bit. Marvelous. All right, well, I'm going to add the polka dots. So I'm not going to add any more highlights to the pumpkin until after I get my polka dots put in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap it up for now and finish up do the polka dots off camera, and add in my final highlights, which will be with the white, and then I will take pictures and post of the final. So, but you get the general idea. I'm going to go back and I'm going to darken up my leaf lines here and get them taken care of as far as the final, what am I trying to say? The final look. That's what I'm looking for. The final look. Maybe I should have had caffeine, y'all. Oh my goodness. And then, of course, like I said, add some white highlights, do my polka dots. And I'm not going to do a ton of polka dots. I'm basically just going to hit kind of around the word and just go with that. I'm not going to add a ton of detail to or extra to the pumpkin. So, but I'm going to do that. And then I will post pictures of everything finished here probably tomorrow or maybe Tuesday. I appreciate you hanging out with me and all my strange rantings for the evening. Everything from fingernail polish to I really don't remember what all I covered now. Oh my goodness. But I hope y'all have a great week. If you are interested in paint parties, would like more information in paint parties, you can email me quiltedtreasures.more at gmail.com. And of course, you can always direct message me through Facebook, or you can always text me. I hope y'all have a great night and a great week ahead. Thanks so much for watching.